Hello, and welcome back to Books with Your Boy. We got episode 2 for you today, and it is about In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. It is a murder story based in Holcomb, Kansas. It is about two guys, obviously in cold blood, killing a family of four. Or at least that is present in the house, and we know that from the start. Like, it's not a surprise. It's a real story. It actually happened in real life. And Truman Capote is just rewriting it for us. He's showing us how it happened. He implies some characters, some character improvisations he sort of puts in there. But he interviewed, actually, a lot of people, including the two murderers, after they were tried. And it is just a riveting story, even though we know we know what happens. And this is what made Truman Capote. It made his career. He got to be on talk shows 10 years, 15 years after this book was made. And this was kind of a make or break book. It was a risky thing. And he takes a lot of flack for it still to this day. He's dead, but it was a risky thing to do. And I'll tell you why at the end. But obviously, it's about a murder, right? And he is only present in this book as an omniscient narrator. But he was there the whole way, after the trials. He knows what happened. He kind of gives you a stance that maybe he's on the other side of the death penalty. Maybe he disagrees with it. And I quote, 4 shotgun blasts that all told ended 6 human lives. So obviously those two men who killed they were called the Clutters, who killed the Clutter family, ended up being hanged. This kind of makes you think, okay, what is his stance on the death penalty? And so he builds these characters, right? He builds the family. We get very connected to the family. He's very good at building relationships, appealing to the pathos of the reader, and then he kills the family. Throughout the book, about 100 pages in, he introduces Dick and Perry, the two murderers, and just ends our connection to any of the Clutters. And then we find out, okay, the Clutters weren't the main characters. It's about the murderers. And throughout the book, we come to discover that Perry seems to be a very human person, not just a murderer, while Dick is the evil-doing man. He's the perpetrator of this crime. And we start to kind of figure out Capote's stance. We also, it's a side note, Capote is gay. Capote is a homosexual man who allegedly has feelings for this Perry. But we kind of realize that he has a connection with this man. He likes him, obviously. And we, as readers, have to like him with his writing. He does an amazing job of making readers hate Dick and like Perry. And feel for him. Perry was an abused child. His parents hated him, therefore he hated his parents. Didn't have a lot of people to rely on. And he needed a guy like Dick to depend on. Dick was a very masculine, angry guy who took life by its reins and really just did whatever he wanted. He was a smart kid growing up, wanted to go to college, as we find out, but couldn't afford it. So he just kind of lived the rest of life as a recluse and chose what he wanted, for his own pleasure. And he thought we could get money. He thought him and Perry could get money from the Clutters. Didn't, and ended up leaving no witnesses. So we get this very interesting part in the story when Dick and Perry are running away or, on their escapade after they actually killed the Clutters. And they plan on killing another guy. He's the driver, who picks up Dick and Perry as hitchhikers. He's a truck driver. And Dick is in the front seat, right? He's got the reins. But Perry sits in the back. But Dick forces Perry to make the murder. Dick's very confident on the outside, but very soft on the inside. He can't do the job. While Perry on the outside is very nervous about this murder, about what he's about to do. And he attempts to do it, but their plans end up getting spoiled because another guy is on the side of the road and the truck driver decides to pick him up. So it shows what kind of guts Dick has on the inside and doesn't have very many. So in the end, obviously, the two murderers are tried and convicted. And during this time, we kind of get a flash right to the present in the making of this book. These guys are in jail, right? They're tried. They're waiting to be hanged because they know they're going to die. But Capote is writing this book right now. And Dick and Perry think that Capote is advocating, against the death penalty. Dick and Perry think that Capote is trying to save them. He's trying to campaign for a appeal to the courts. But Capote never confesses to this. He never admits that the death penalty is wrong or right. Never admits that the two murderers were right or wrong in their actions, because Dick didn't do any of the crimes. We find out that Perry did all of them, but he's kind of mentally challenged, and Dick obviously didn't do the crimes, do the murders. So what we talked about in class today in AP Language was what really struck me is that this book would not be successful if the two murderers didn't die. If the two murderers got out away with this, they came off scot-free, then this book wouldn't be a bestseller like it is today. It wouldn't be a classic. It wouldn't be something that I'd be talking about right now. And I think Capote had to make that choice. This is the part that really kind of irks me about this book, that maybe this book was written in cold blood. Maybe it was written, in a cold-hearted way. Truman had the opportunity to kind of advocate or save these two guys who could have had a better trial. Instead, he lets them die, he lets them be hanged, and he makes a living off of it, right? He makes the most fame he ever has off of this book. And I just think it's pretty ironic that the murderers of the book, and the murderers in the story, end up being murdered by the guy who, end up being murdered without the help of the guy who wrote the story about them, which is kind of a tongue twister. But if you think about it, it's kind of scary. But yeah, overall, no matter what kind of guy Truman Capote was, it's a great story. I recommend it. Great appeal to the human. It pulls on your heartstrings. It's a must-read, to be honest. You can learn a lot about it. You can learn about yourself. You can learn about people, about being a detective. It's a pretty great read, and you get to kind of dive down into the feelings of people you might never meet in the real world. So I recommend it. I'm excited to see you guys next episode. Please like and subscribe. Share this with your friends. And Skip's out. I'll see you next time.